the shoot, the big roller coaster at Epic that I'm wanting to call
Um,
the Constellation Carousel, and that's not.
Stardust.
Yes. Yeah, let me show you the launch and the Constellation Carousel.
Man, now we got to ride that one. I wasn't too
I
excited about it before, but I can't pass it up if there's a
know.
launch on that thing.
You just have a mythical creature take off.
What's its top speed?
Point
If we have a
five.
ca- if we have a carousel that goes like 50 miles an hour, I'm getting on it.
You're then you're not on the carousel, you're on the Storm Force Acceleratron. Welcome to episode 24 of the Adventure Lives On podcast.
So this week we'll be wrapping up our Universal Studios deep dives with an episode full of some of the best and worst attractions Universal Studios Florida has to offer. Buckle up
Grab your cup of coffee
and get ready to live the adventure
in
in
the
the
Universal
Universal
theme
theme
parks
parks
and
and
beyond.
beyond.
Kids are sleeping, dog's had his medicine. We're good. But I don't know if you'll be able to see the wait, hold on.
No, I cannot. Yes.
It
It's so exciting. I
is
guess for people
official.
for people listening who didn't see that, she just held up our military annual passes for Universal.
Yeah. So excited. And something else cool that happened today, which I know we can't take long because you got a ton of notes and I got a
Mhm.
decent amount of notes. But today was the grand opening of Cane's
Oh,
here
cool.
in Georgia. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. I'm not like the biggest fan of Cane's, but it just reminds me of home. So I had to go and take
Yeah.
the girls and Nick loves Cane's, so brought him some home.
Nice. Y'all got a little bit of Louisiana over
A
there
little
now.
bit of Louisiana and Georgia. People camped out overnight.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
That's so crazy to me because I have one like right down the street.
Well, the first person in line got a gift basket. I have no idea what was included in this gift basket, but it had to be really good to literally. There was a tent. They had a literal tent.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Um, and now people are realizing that Cane's is really only good because of the sauce. And they're like, the chicken is so bland.
Well, that's
What
why
the
they
sauce
have
is
the
for.
sauce.
Yeah. Yeah. So the reviews aren't great so far.
Eh.
But yeah. Anyway. Oh, where are we? So I had Mummy and Fallon. You had Fast and Furious and what?
Transformers.
Transformers. Okay.
I am way more
Um,
excited about one than the other. Three guesses which is which.
yeah, right. You and me both. Which is funny for anyone new to this. You'll learn pretty quickly that Jake and I have some very strong feelings about a couple of the rides on this list.
Yes, we do.
Um,
That's putting it lightly.
yeah, yeah. Well, going based off of the
The
park,
map going
the
from Minion
map,
Land.
yeah, where do you think we
Eh,
should start? Do you want to start with Transformers and then my Fallon I can shorten to fit if we need to?
we'll
And
see where we
then,
get.
uh-huh.
Okay. Man, I'm really going to be disappointed if the last episode we have to record for January is just Fast and Furious.
Going out with a bang.
Eh, okay, so if we're going to start with Transformers, I didn't realize the first version of this ride actually opened in Singapore in
Hmm,
December of 2011.
did not either.
Yeah, they started in Singapore. They announced that it was going to be opened in Singapore and Hollywood. So the Singapore ride opened December 3rd of 2011, and the Hollywood version opened May 25th of 2012, so around 6 months later. Then Orlando finally got it June 20th of 2013. So it took a little while to get it over there. And a little bit of brief Transformers history. So Transformers started as a Japanese toy line from a company called Takara, and it originally was basically just a line of a bunch of different vehicles that transformed into robots, but they weren't really characters. There was no story. It wasn't Optimus Prime. It was just here's a truck that turns into a robot and we have it in three different colors. When Hasbro bought the US distribution rights and rebranded it as Transformers for the American audience, they decided that each vehicle, each character with each different color, each vehicle with each different color would become its own character. And they actually had Marvel Comics write a whole story that gave them lore and backstory and character traits and explained to the audience kind of who all the characters were going to be. And then the they made an animated series, which was basically just, 22 minutes of toy commercial later that same year. And then when it got more popular, they made more toys, a whole comic series, like I said, from Marvel, and eventually it got a a theatrical animated movie which traumatized children everywhere because they continued to treat it like a toy commercial and thought, we want to release new products. The only way to get rid of the products kids have been playing with is to kill off all the characters on screen so that we can make room for new ones. And they really underestimated how emotionally attached to Optimus Prime these kids were. And they traumatized them when they killed him.
Oh, jeez.
The color faded from all of his parts. He went full gray. There was a big hole in his chest. It was
Oh my
brutal.
gosh.
He died on an basically like a robot operating table in their base. It was a whole sad thing.
That's
It's
a
not fun.
lot.
It's not funny, but it is. So,
Uh,
yeah, we got that and then more cartoons and more toys and eventually in 2007, they decided to try to bring Transformers into live action. And those movies were directed by Michael Bay and executive produced by Steven Spielberg to mixed results throughout the seven movies in the franchise. But they did make between all of them over $5 billion worldwide, so fairly successful overall. And after the success of that first movie was when they announced the ride in 2008, and the creative director for the project, Kerry Koo, also worked on Forbidden Journey and probably not surprisingly, Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man because they're very similar rides. And Michael Bay apparently was originally not on board with the idea of the ride and the whole direction it was going. And I found a quote from him even saying, I'm not involved and not sure the story of the ride works. I know Optimus is not just going to show up and be directed by new people that have never worked with him. And like I just mentioned, the ride borrowed many of its elements, if not most, from Spider-Man. Same ride vehicle, same general sort of idea of moving through the indoor show building from screen to screen with some 4D effects along the way to kind of bring people more into the story. Although the Spider-Man show building from research I've done is over 65,000 square feet, and apparently every version of the Transformers ride building is half that size.
Hmm.
And there's about 2,000 feet of track that span across the two floors of the building, and there are two elevators in the ride that move the car up to the second floor and then back down to the first floor throughout the whole thing. Which similar to Spider-Man with how you do the
Hmm.
lift into the air and then you fall back down.
Yeah. Best part. You
It
falling.
really is.
That and when they throw the fire pumpkins.
Yeah, yeah, that's always been one of my favorite effects in that ride. Which that's actually one of my favorite things in the Transformers ride as well is whenever I can't remember if it was Megatron or Optimus shoots a bullet out of one of their massive alien guns and it does a similar thing where it comes toward you, you feel the heat
Hmm.
coming off of it, and then you see the explosion behind you.
Yeah.
That just all blends
Uh,
together really well for me.
it does.
And speaking of effects, ILM, or Industrial Light and Magic, was the company who worked on the digital effects for the Transformers movies, as well as probably most movies people have seen in the past few decades, because that was a company that was created back when George Lucas first made Star Wars in 1977, and they've been doing
Mhm.
digital effects work ever since. And they worked on the ride footage, and it took them over 2 years.
Wow. Which is funny
Or,
because a
or,
lot of
or it
these
was,
other ones, from like the time the previous ride closed to the time the new one opened was maybe 2 years.
yeah, I think they must have started early, knowing kind of what it was going to be.
Well, I would think this one would have been a little bit faster though, because they had already used the same kind of ride system for Spider-Man.
Yeah, but I'm saying because the animations and all the footage on screen is way more complex than Spider-Man because
Oh
these
yeah.
Transformers had to look as photoreal as they do in the movies.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that's the difference. The physical stuff probably didn't take very long.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an exact number on that, but the fact that it took about 2 years for them to get all of the not really surprising, especially because they were still early on in the series of the movies as well, so they were still working through some of it. It's not like they had 5 movies under their belt.
Yeah.
And most of the cast for the Transformers came back to reprise their roles. Kind of similar situation to Simpsons. There was one person who didn't, that being Hugo Weaving, who voiced Megatron. He was also Elrond in Lord of the Rings. He was Agent Smith in The Matrix, if that rings any bells for anybody. And he was replaced for the ride by Frank Welker, who has been in almost almost every animated voice acted project you can think of. He was actually the original voice actor for Megatron in the 1984 cartoon.
Cool.
And to tie back to other Universal characters, he also was originally the voice of Scooby and Fred in the Scooby-Doo cartoons back in the 60s and 70s.
Okay, and what's his name?
Frank Welker.
Okay.
He's been in so many things.
Uh-huh. I met one of the Scooby-Doo guys. It's Second and Charles. I'm trying to remember which one it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were they had a couple of them there that were doing autographs or signing
Hmm.
autographs, I guess.
Okay, yeah, I'd be curious to know who that was if you remember or if you can find him.
Yeah, I'll have to find my little autographed picture. I tore a page out of one of the Scooby-Doo books and had him sign
That works.
it.
And the other person who came back from to reprise their role from the movies was Glenn Morshower, who played the general in the movies that worked with the Transformers.
Mhm.
I believe he was on a screen in the queue as you're going through giving instructions to the riders. And to make the ride vehicle a part of the story, they created a new Autobot character named Evac. So that way the ride car you were in was a Transformer, so it kept things a little more interesting.
Mhm.
Which, like I said, was the basically a repainted version of the Scoop vehicle from Spider-Man. I mentioned the 4D effects. Again, similar to Spider-Man, they had the wind, water spray, hot air, fog, vibration. Apparently, there was a plan to include some animatronics, but the idea was cut probably due to space and budget constraints. But man, I would have loved to see an animatronic transformer in that ride.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they could definitely do it. Once I tell you about the mummy animatronic, the Imhotep, they could have definitely done it, but it would have been expensive for sure.
Oh yeah, because it would have been a lot bigger than Imhotep.
Yep.
I am
Yep.
excited to hear about that though. I love animatronics. Let's see. So construction in Singapore began late in 2009, and Hollywood construction started in summer 2010 and caused the closure of Backdraft and the special effects stage show, which I've heard of, but I don't know too much about. Might be something we could look into if we maybe do a deep dive into Hollywood one day.
Mhm.
And let's see. By the time the Hollywood version had opened, Universal already decided to bring it to Florida. So maybe that's where the 2 years comes in, that they had started working on it once it had opened in Florida.
Mhm.
And construction began pretty much immediately right after the Hollywood version had opened on Soundstage 44, which apparently used to be home to a Hercules and Xena experience and a Murder She Wrote mystery theater before it was Transformers.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading about that, but I don't remember ever seeing it.
Yeah, I haven't been to Universal any earlier than after Transformers had opened. Like I've never
Mhm.
seen it as anything else.
Was it the grand opening? Yeah, I told you that, you know that.
Yeah,
And
you did mention that.
the general was there. I thought I
Oh, he
remembered him being
was?
there, but I just Googled it to confirm. He was there.
Okay. That's cool. And if I remember correctly, didn't you say Josh Duhamel was there too?
Remind me who that one is.
That's the main military guy, the kind of short, dark hair. He was in most of the movies.
Maybe it's been so long. I don't dislike Transformers, but I'm not a big Transformers fan. Um, so it's let's see. No.
No, not who you were thinking of.
No. Sorry.
Okay, just curious. I did find that there was an estimated $100 million construction budget per attraction for all the three parks.
Jeez.
Yeah, I guess because they were built pretty much from scratch along the lines of
Hmm.
how Spider-Man was. It wasn't like a retheme like some of the other things we covered.
Right.
And speaking of theming, it's themed to a Nest facility, which is a military task force from the movies, led by a team of US soldiers that work with the Autobots to take down the Decepticons. And so guests are recruited to join Nest, and they're thrown into the middle of a fight when Decepticons infiltrate the base. And the gift shop at the exit of the ride is the Transformers Supply Vault, which has some really cool stuff because they have your typical sort of, mugs and t-shirts and things. But the stuff that always catches my eye is they have a full-size replica of the Allspark cube from the movies.
Mhm.
And then they also have sort of like bust sculptures of, I think, Bumblebee, Optimus, and Evac that you can buy that light up that look really cool. And they're like, from what I remember, I think they were almost like human head sized. They're big.
Wow.
Yeah,
Gonna have to take a look at those, I'm sure,
definitely.
in
I'm
a
gonna want to
couple of
get pictures of
weeks.
those. I know. Just getting closer and closer.
Yes.
The Florida ride hit 1 million riders in August of 2013, less than 2 months after it opened.
Jeez. That's a
Yeah.
lot of riders, and they were having a little bit of technical difficulties at first too. So they must have really been
Mm.
pushing them through.
Yeah, they must have, which I'm curious now, thinking back to the Simpsons episode, if that surpassed the Forbidden Journey milestone back in 2010. Because I don't
Mhm.
think Forbidden Journey made it that fast to 1 million, but I'd have to look that up. I'm
We'll
curious.
cover that in the islands
Yeah.
month.
And aside from the ride itself, one of my favorite things is that guests can meet Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Megatron in person. They are
Mhm.
huge. They're genuinely, I think, some of the most impressive costumes Universal has ever made.
Yes. Yes, they are.
They
And
look,
they're interactive too. They really interact.
yeah. Although it's funny you mentioned that because along those lines, I found out, and I had noticed this in some videos I saw, but I never really put two and two together. For whatever reason, in Florida, the characters, while they do interact with you fairly well, they use pre-recorded lines from the movies. But in Hollywood, they actually have speakers and voice changers, and they talk to the guests
Oh.
in character, and they sound, at least relatively close to
Mhm.
how they sound in the movies.
I like the ways. I think I met Megatron just a couple of times, but Bumblebee I've met several times. I love that he just communicates with the music.
Yeah, the way he talks through the
It just,
radio.
yeah, talks through the radio. He one time when I met him, I was walking away and he started playing Baby Come Back.
I love that.
Oh, cracked me up.
Man, everybody at Universal's just flirting with you, huh?
Beetlejuice is proposing. Bumblebee's trying to. Oh, man. Fortunately, my husband is not jealous of dead men or robots.
Okay, good. I'd maybe be a little bit jealous of Bumblebee, but
Yeah, maybe a little bit. He is pretty strong
he's a cool robot and a cool car.
in a cool car. Yeah, a very cool car. And he's got decent taste in music.
Yeah, he does. And that is all I have for Transformers. We got through that way faster than I thought.
That was all you had for Transformers?
Yeah, mentally, I'm thinking to myself, okay, we got to get through this. And I just powered through.
Well, where are we on time?
We are 25 minutes in.
Okay.
You want to try to get through Fallon?
Um, sure. Yeah, I think I can probably get through Fallon pretty quickly. And I'm getting real mad at myself right now because I'm Googling who all was at the grand opening that I was at. We had no
Uh-huh.
idea what was happening. We just showed up
Yeah,
and uh Spielberg was there.
really.
Yeah. I
So you
do
were at the
not
park when
remember.
Steven Spielberg was there.
Yes. And I watched the ceremony. Now, granted, I was way the heck in the back because again, we were not
Uh-huh.
planning for this. We just happened to be at the park. And uh so in the general, I don't know why I remember him being there because he couldn't have been in a general's uniform. But I remember him being there. He did a lot of talking. I do not, for the life of me, remember Spielberg. And I
That's
love
really
Spielberg.
weird. Yeah, I would think if there was anybody you'd remember, it would be him.
It would be him, but no, the general. I don't even know his name.
Well, funny
Um,
enough, Glenn Morshower played General Morshower in the movie.
no.
So I guess because it didn't really
Uh,
matter all that much, they were just like, yeah, why not? It's you.
mm, yeah, Spielberg. I can't believe he was there and I don't remember. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
ask Lindsay if she remembers.
Yeah, I'd be
If she
curious to
was
see if she
there.
does, 'cause, man, I
See
would
if
have
she,
loved to see that.
yeah, I'd love to remember it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's see. Where's now this time I did not use AI to organize my notes for me, and I don't
So
know if this is going to be better or worse.
well, let's find out together.
And I did notice that ChatGPT was removing things because get
Oh,
out of my cord. So I would have all my stuff typed up and I just pasted into the ChatGPT, okay, organize this for me. And then yeah, some of the stuff that I couldn't find last time is because it wasn't in there.
oh, wow,
And
way
I
to
know it
go.
was in my notes. Yeah.
Thanks,
Dang it.
chat.
Yeah. I've been really disappointed with ChatGPT recently. But anyway, on
I'd be lying if
to
it said that didn't make me a little happy.
I'm sure it does.
'Cause I'm always a little disappointed with ChatGPT.
Um, uh, now we are on to Race Through New York, starring Jimmy Fallon, which I thought
Yay.
was a really interesting choice because why are you going to center an entire ride around a single real person?
Can I try and
Jimmy,
guess with a one-word answer?
go for it.
Comcast?
But why pick and I like Jimmy Fallon. I think he's cool. I like the show.
Eh,
I think he's funny, but why
why
not
him?
why him? Why focus on any one specific host? Because what happens when he moves on? Or if
Right.
he does something like what Jimmy Kimmel did recently, where half of your audience is now boycotting, and then the other half is
Yeah.
boycotting.
Like maybe it would have made more sense to do some kind of attraction that goes through the history of the show or and talks about all
Yeah.
of them or yeah, I
Or
see.
even they hashtag the panda.
Yeah. They
Why
definitely
did
could
you
have made
have to?
something.
Yeah, so that is an odd choice, I think.
It definitely is.
But anyway, the ride replaced Twister, which I was a big fan of. Twister Ride It Out, which I was a big fan of.
I
It
wish I
wasn't a
could have
ride.
experienced Twister.
Well, fortunately, watching a video of it and being there, you get a pretty decent feel for it.
Okay.
What you miss is the floor falling.
Oh, okay.
So, something you may not know is I am terrified of tornadoes. Terrified. That's one of my biggest fears. And
All right.
crazy enough, about a year ago, which I've probably already told you about this one, but about a year ago, a tornado hit my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick was out of town, so I'm here alone with the kids. No, like I didn't know of any tornado watch in effect, and weather was bad, so I'm just kind of keeping an eye on things, and all of a sudden the wind is nuts. Like that doesn't
Oh,
look good. And then the
oh, real
siren
quick.
started going off.
Speaking of things that don't look good, 10-minute warning.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Anyway, tornado hit the neighborhood, knocked down a huge oak tree in my backyard, and I was terrified. But in the Twister experience, the platform you're standing on at one point drops just a little bit,
Oh,
and you don't see it coming. So one of my favorite things to do was go on it with people who hadn't done it before and
uh-huh.
stand behind them.
Oh,
So then when it falls, you can see the whole just
I would have peed
the
myself a little
terror.
bit. I'm gonna be fully honest with you. I would have peed a little bit.
So that was one of my favorite parts was watching other people's reactions to that. And it was really cool. You could walk through the what looked like a house that was hit by a tornado when you're going through the queue. Really cool queue,
Oh,
cool
that is cool.
experience. It was it really and it fit really well with the backlot kind of setup of how the park was back then.
Hmm.
And which makes sense on why they changed it when they did, because they were moving away from that and onto more of the rides.
Yeah.
So and it was also a very old movie. The second movie wasn't even being talked about at the time. The sequel, still pretty new, or maybe it was the third one, whatever, the newest one. I forget how many there are. Capacity, it's a show. So getting people in and out took some time, um, high operational cost, and they were looking for a real anchor for the New York area of the park that fit the new look better. Um, so they picked Race Through New York, starring Jimmy Fallon.
Which kind of makes sense and kind of doesn't. I think I'm with you that even if it was going to be a race through New York, they could have maybe themed it around someone else or maybe not around the
Hmm.
Tonight Show and it might have lasted longer and not
Yeah,
dated itself because I do feel like
right.
it kind of has already
And The
a
Tonight
little bit.
Show, I think it still seems to be fairly popular. Um, but I don't know. They recreated, so the ride building inside, they recreated Manhattan's 30 Rockefeller Center, which there's a show on Peacock that takes place there as well, 30 Rock.
Yeah, I've heard of
And
it. I haven't seen it.
it reminds me of The Office, and I like it a lot. So
Okay.
if you haven't seen it, it's a cool show. And right down to the carpeting in the elevator, which is purple with like the little peacocks on it.
So they
Uh,
really recreated every little
they
detail.
really recreated it. Fallon, so in the queue, there are lots of different waiting areas in the queue, and you wait
Yeah.
for a long time,
Uh-huh.
a
That I do
long
remember.
time. Um, And so the first area of the queue is history of all the different Tonight Show hosts, including Fallon. Fallon's got a huge display. And one of the things displayed in his case is his high school yearbook that predicted that he will replace Letterman on TV.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. The balcony in the building up top, the side that overlooks the stage, there's a compass
Hmm.
there. You get to see it on the VIP tour. Um, and rumors say that that was the original middle of Universal, not just that park, but the whole, Universal resort before it
Yeah,
was resort.
I think you had
Um,
mentioned that to me once.
but there's a lot of people that say that it's not true. So
Hmm.
we don't know. If that's not it, according to my tour guide when we did the VIP tour, if it's not that, they don't know why it's there. Just
Okay.
random compass on a balcony. Um, there is a tribute to Michael Jackson in the ride, in the pre-show, one of the first pre-show, or maybe the first pre-show room. Fallon's family is also in it, and the actual camera used on the Tonight Show when Johnny Carson was on it is in the queue.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Something about the 3D glasses. So there are two different types of 3D, passive and active. This one uses passive 3D, which I learned a little bit about. Passive 3D is when you got the more of the flimsy kind of 3D glasses that are nothing fancy. Active 3D glasses are the bigger, heavier ones, and they actually like shutter.
Hmm.
Yeah. I didn't read too much more into it because
That is
this one uses passive 3D. So maybe when we
right.
get to one of the active 3D ones, I'll read some more about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. That's got me curious now.
I figured it would. This one, this ride was took a lot of technical planning and engineering because they are syncing up everything, the the sounds with the screen, with the ride movement. So it took a
Hmm.
lot. Like what was the other one that they stood 8 hours? Oh shoot, it was the one that I did.
Oh,
ET.
yeah. Yeah.
You know, 8 hours programming Botanicus, um,
That's right.
or 2 days or whatever, long time program Botanicus. So very similar. And that's in the queue in the ride. There are just so many of the different elements. The queue is really interactive, which is cool if you're going to be waiting around for an hour, at least,
Yeah, it
have
is.
something to do. But if you're one of those people like me that is driven nuts by a free-for-all, this is not your jam. Everyone waits in one big room together, and when it's time to go to the next room, you all rush to the next room.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either.
So yeah, you have those people who are, extra rude and are going to push past everyone to make sure they're the first person, even though we're all
Hmm.
going in the same theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so at least it's not like on Escape from Gringotts, when you're getting in and out of the elevator.
Yeah, that's always a little bit of a
Yeah.
mess too.
hmm Um, but yeah, that's the kind of queue you're dealing with. Very entertaining, not very entertaining though. There's live shows, people singing. So I mean, it's cool. It's fun for kids that are tall enough to ride it because it's got a pretty high height requirement. I think it was over 40 inches, if I'm remembering correctly, somewhere in my notes.
Hmm.
Um, we're down to
Which is
2 minutes.
interesting because didn't Minions as well, if I remember? They both
Yeah, I had a
because
higher,
it's the same kind of ride system with the
yeah, same.
Artorium
hmm
simulator.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know what it is about that, but
I don't either. And you'd think they would put some stationary seats.
yeah, that's a good
I don't know.
point.
Um,
Hmm.
the screen is curved and has depth effects, so it uses visual tricks to exaggerate the motion.
Okay.
It also uses some wind, water, and scent timed perfectly for when you're going through different areas, like passing the pizza places and
Hmm.
going into space.
Almost kind of like Soren.
Yeah, similar. I don't know that they do as good a job as Soren does, though.
I don't think so.
Um, it officially opened on April 6th, 2017.
Oh, so that's really
And
fairly new.
yeah, really new. And like I said, replaced Twister. Fallon originally proposed this attraction. So this was Fallon's idea.
Hmm.
Originally proposed it during when he was on the late night show, but they didn't go anywhere with it until after he got put on the Tonight Show.
Hmm. Okay.
And
I guess
it,
he was more popular then once he moved over.
yeah, yeah, I don't remember ever watching him on the late night show. I just know of him from the Tonight Show. So maybe it could have been a different audience too.
Maybe so.
But it came from his race comedy bits, which I really don't remember watching, but apparently they're real popular. Um,
Hmm. Yeah, I don't recall those either.
yeah.
I feel like I also maybe
And
should mention for reference because I haven't had a lot to say about this one. I've only ridden it once, and I'm not the biggest Jimmy Fallon fan. So,
we have less than a minute, so I don't know how
oh,
much more I'm
okay,
getting through, but I got a little bit left, so we might have to just finish quickly in the next episode.
okay.
Um, and one thing I don't love, it is scripted. So it's not like you might win, you might lose, something different might.
Always
So
gets us.
always gets us. What I was saying though is that there's only one, just one story. There's
Yeah,
no, you don't win, you lose. It's the same thing every time, which is a little bit of a bummer because they could have, it seems like they could have
the
done more than one.
it cuts back on the rewritability a little bit.
Yeah,
How
it
many
does.
times do you want to lose to Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah. The ride's 4 minutes long. The queue is like an hour.
Yeah.
Um, um, capacity, it can seat up to 72 guests per cycle, which really doesn't seem like a ton.
Hmm.
There were
Yeah, it
more
doesn't.
people in line this morning for canes than will fit in this huge theater. Um,
What a way to put it into perspective.
and it uses one massive curved projection screen, and it relies heavily on the negative parallax, which in the screen curvature, it helps objects appear to pop out towards riders. And force perspective, like we've talked about lots of times,
Hmm.
scaling for the speed and distance exaggeration, and rapid depth transitions to simulate acceleration.
Okay.
They use these a lot in the near miss moments, vertical drops, and forward launches, like when you're going into space and coming back down.
Yeah, that makes sense to help sell the movement.
Yeah. People complain that it makes them motion sick.
I don't remember that one making me too sick, but I could
Yeah,
see
me
it.
either. Uh, They used full body motion capture on Fallon and facial motion capture to get his expressions and comedic timing. Could you imagine doing that on Jim Carrey?
Oh man.
That's what they should have done. Put Jim
For
Carrey in
the
there.
Grinch. I
Um,
think had they made that movie like 10, 15 years later, that's how they would have done it.
yeah. And the animation was also handled by ILM, which you just talked about in
Oh,
Transformers.
cool. I love how each one of these kind of just piggybacks into the next. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of neat.
Was. See, speed direction, talked about that stuff. Uses a multi-channel surround sound system. They mix up dialogue with the other sounds, so it really sounds like you're in New York. You have the horns honking and street chatter and all that fun stuff of being in the big city.
Okay.
There is a scene in it that references a scene from Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro, except Fallon is playing the taxi driver, and a lot of Fallon plays like everyone. So it's him. All these characters, they look like other people. It's just Fallon dressed like other people.
Is it really?
It
I
is.
guess I'm sure I probably saw a couple of them, but I don't remember noticing that they were all him. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, a lot of them are Fallon. Now there are some that are actually other people, but a lot of them are Fallon. And it was the first attraction at Universal to have a virtual line.
Oh,
Mhm.
I bet that was a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, you wait in the virtual line for this ride, for me at least, I remember my first experience. I thought once you get your virtual your time, you go in and you ride the ride. No, no, no. You wait and you have the virtual queue for however many hours, and then you get there and you still wait an hour.
The virtual line is to get a spot
Get
in the
it?
real line.
Yes, yes, which I did not realize going into that. And then once I rode the ride and realized that's what I was waiting for, oh my gosh, I'm not making that mistake again.
Yeah, no.
Uh,
I don't think I need to ride that when we go.
and I'm good with not. And the last time I rode it, a lot of the little games were not working.
Oh,
Yeah, that are in the queue.
sounds like that's half the fun, so that's a
Yeah,
shame.
yeah. The original ride system was developed by Dynamic Motor Rides from Austria.
Oh,
And
okay.
um,
Don't think I've heard of them.
uh, well, they didn't finish it.
Oh,
Um, they got into a legal battle, and Universal ended up replacing them.
okay. That makes more sense why I haven't heard of them.
Yeah. Um, that is about all I got.
Okay, cool.
Uh, and I guess
I guess
people, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say the one other thing I wanted to say about this one is I was thinking about it, and I feel like kind of similar to Fast and Furious. I almost feel like this is the kind of experience that would have been better as like a Back to the Future Simpsons style motion simulator rather than the big auditorium.
Yeah.
Could probably make it feel a little more intense.
And they have so much space in there. So much
Yeah.
space. And they used it for what they used it for. I guess I also almost forgot to add, um, they use this, it's Soundstage 50. They use the same building, didn't tear the building down. They just completely renovated it on the inside. But um, there is a tribute in one of the prop windows to Bill Paxton, who played in Twister, the
Oh,
movie Twister, and he was in the ride queue
yeah.
as well. Um, it's a light blue button-up shirt similar to the one he wore in the pre-show for the Twister experience. A stapler on one of the desks that's labeled B Paxton on it, and an advertisement for a fictional Twister cola.
That's
So
cool.
they didn't reuse any parts of the ride, but they did do a little tribute.
Hmm. I like when they put Easter eggs for their old rides
Hmm.
in.
Yeah, me too. All right, Mummy or Fast and Furious?
We don't want to end on a low note, right? We don't want to end studios on Fast and Furious, do we?
Yeah, maybe not. So then go ahead. The floor is
Okay, so
yours.
Fast and Furious Supercharged, which I have in my notes with a vomiting emoji next to the title. The Hollywood version opened June 25th of 2015, and the Orlando version opened a few years later, April 23rd of 2018, and it's considered by many to be one of the worst attractions Universal has created and one of the worst theme park rides of all time.
We are included in the many.
Yes. And I mentioned this a couple weeks back. Fast and Furious was a possible contender at one point to replace Back to the Future, which, like we said, I think that almost might have been better.
Hmm.
The first movie was a major success and grossed over 200 million worldwide, which you got to think that's back in early 2000s.
Hmm.
So that's pretty big for then. The second movie was an even bigger hit, but then after Tokyo Drift became the least successful movie so far in the
Really?
franchise.
That was
Univer
my
but
favorite.
mine too, and I think a lot of people nowadays like it, but it didn't do as well because they ditched the entire main cast. Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, none of
Yeah.
them came back. I think it's
Mm.
a good movie. It's just not what people were expecting back then. But since it was the least successful at the time, that's part of what caused them to hold off and build Simpsons instead. That and the popularity of the Simpsons movie all kind of
Mm-hmm.
happened at the same time. And so they put that off for a while. It still, unfortunately, made its way into the parks as part of the Hollywood studio tour. And the first way they did this was with Fast and Furious Extreme Close-Up, which opened June 15th of 2006 and was part of the studio tour where as your bus would drive by what looked kind of like a garage, there were two cars parked out front that looked like they were about to take off in a street race, and they would take off, an explosion would happen behind them, and the cars would fly at your bus
Hmm.
on two giant robotic arms. Which I'm like, okay, maybe it's a
Yeah.
cool special effect, but it doesn't feel very Fast and Furious to me. I feel like maybe they should have shown an actual race. But so they launch the cars at you on these big
Hmm.
arms that come up from under the ground. And then to demonstrate how cool the arms are, they take these two full-size cars and start making them move and dance in sync to a hip hop beat.
Okay.
And I guess the only other notable thing about that is the arms that they were put on were an earlier version of the Kuka arms that would eventually go on to be in Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey and Monsters
Wondering.
Unchained. They were done by that same company. The fourth movie later on brought back the original cast and became the highest grossing up till that point. So obviously that led to sequel after sequel that just made more and more money, and it became Universal's highest grossing franchise of all time with a total earning of close to 6 billion.
Jeez.
And after the extreme close-up segment of the studio tour closed in 2013, Universal wanted to take advantage of all that money and do a sort of tie-in with the more recent movies. And so it was announced in April of 2014 that for the 50th anniversary of the studio tour, Fast and Furious Supercharged would become the tour's grand finale. The look on your face says it all.
That that is a grand finale.
It's it's a finale.
It's a finale.
And construction
Mm.
started later that summer, and I know this is going to hurt your heart. It replaced the Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, which was, I guess, was originally the end of their studio tour in Hollywood.
Hmm.
The new show building was 65,000 square feet, and the attraction featured the longest 3D projection installation ever made because the screen wrapped the length of the entire building, one continuous screen.
Wow.
The custom screen spanned about 400 feet long and 40 feet high, and it uses 34 4K projectors that used a front projection system as opposed to rear projection, how they would do it a lot of the times, where the projector's
Hmm.
behind the screen so you don't see it. And the main cast returned for the ride: Vin Diesel, Tyrese Gibson, Michelle Rodriguez, Dwayne Johnson, and Luke Evans. And the cast filmed on green screens and were composited into background footage that was shot in LA to create realistic ride footage without overusing fabricated computer generated images.
Hmm.
Which if you've been on the ride or seen any footage of it, you'll know that by the time it all got put together, most of what you see looks like fabricated computer generated imagery.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Gotta shout out Vin Diesel hanging on to that tiny helicopter floating through the streets of LA looking like he came out of a PS3 game. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
No, I cannot. Oh,
Honestly,
wow.
PS3 might even be generous, but
Mm.
anyway. Um, The attraction also used a hologram projection system to make it feel like the actors were on physical sets alongside the guests, similar to how they do in the beginning of the ride at Orlando, and then at the end where they're all standing around. I think Vin Diesel's standing on top of the truck. So it feels like they're in the set, which is similar to the effects they use to put the Harry Potter cast in Hogwarts Castle in the queue for Forbidden Journey, as well as whenever you see Bill Weasley in his office in the pre-show for Escape from Gringotts. Similar sort of effect there. And the opening in Hollywood included Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, and Tyrese Gibson, as well as Dom's black Charger, which evaded police, took off down the road for the studio tour, and jumped a ramp where it crashed through a billboard for the ride.
They
So
actually
the
did that?
opening, they actually did that. They crashed the black Charger jumped a ramp and crashed through a billboard. So the opening was
Oh,
more thrilling than the ride.
yeah. Yeah, it was.
The video was really cool. I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah, to watch that.
And the story of the attraction's actually woven throughout the whole studio tour because as the tour starts off and you're going through a sort of neighborhood, like suburban neighborhood with some houses, the Charger is parked in a random driveway and the tour guide notices it and it's like, hey, that's not supposed to be there. And they call security. And then the security guard who shows up on the screens that are overhead in the tram that you're riding on, the screen gets taken over by the FBI agent who was in the ride,
Hmm.
telling the guests to keep an eye out for Dominic Toretto. And then Dwayne Johnson comes on and interrupts Star Tours style to say that there's a witness on board the tour that the criminal organization headed by Luke Evans is coming to take out along with everybody else on board.
Oh, gee.
And so to hide out from Luke Evans, guests are moved into the ride building. And then the ride takes place pretty much just like it does in Florida, except you're on your tour bus instead of boarding a party bus at the beginning of the ride. And you just drive the bus through the whole building with the screens on both sides of you. And then it comes out to the end of the tour. And the whole attraction is about 3 minutes long, thankfully.
Mhm.
And construction in Florida began in 2016, and this version replaced Disaster and the Beetlejuice Graveyard Review.
Which is sad.
Very
I
sad.
wasn't a huge fan of Disaster, but I did like the Graveyard Review.
I wish I could have seen it.
Hmm.
And the new pre-show for the scenes in Florida, because it's its own standalone ride and not a part of the studio tour. Oh, you good?
No, Rockets.
Oh,
Rocket. Speed of
pulling on your
Menace.
cord.
Yes. That's not your bone.
Now it's an official episode. We got some menacing in.
Yes.
So the new pre-show for the ride in Florida also now includes Ludacris and Jordana Brewster. So it brought them in. And the Florida version is located in the San Francisco area of studios. It's pretty much the only thing located there now. And as I mentioned before, it takes place on a party bus and uses the same ride system and overall sort of layout and screen setup as Skull Island Reign of Kong over at Islands of Adventure, which I think it's much better utilized there.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of either of them, but I do think Kong is better than Fast
Yeah.
Furious.
And actually, Kong was the most recent addition to Hollywood's tour before Supercharged. So Kong was on the Hollywood Studio Tour, then that got brought to Florida, and then it was replaced by Fast and Furious on the Hollywood tour, and then that got brought over.
Hmm.
So I think that also explains part of why the ride system was reused and it went the way
Yeah.
it did. And the show building in Florida is estimated to be nearly 110,000 square feet.
Oh,
Yeah.
we
And
are
in my
halfway
opinion,
through.
oh, okay.
Just FYI.
And in my opinion, the queue and garage area is the only really worthwhile part of the attraction.
Yeah.
and it includes 15 vehicles, some of them from the movies and some created specifically for the ride. And there are a few small Easter eggs, kind of like you mentioned earlier. For this one, there are Easter eggs for Beetlejuice and Disaster, and even a really rusted, dirty, out of time license plate from Back to the Future tucked behind, I think, on top of
Hmm.
one of the lockers. And the slow speed of the party bus, to me, is a perfect example of why the tunnel scene in Men in Black Alien Attack wouldn't have worked. 'Cause remember, I was talking about how they scrapped that idea because the ride vehicle moved too slow?
Yeah.
I think that kind of it's the same effect here. If the party
Hmm.
bus had actually moved faster instead of them just blowing a fan on you, it might have sold the effect of speeding through LA.
Yeah.
And I did hear the last thing I have on this ride is that I've heard in some of the research that I did, the hate for this really shouldn't be directed at Universal Creative, but actually more at Comcast because they were desperate to get Fast and Furious into the parks as quickly and cheaply as possible so that it
Oh,
could be there alongside the release of the eighth movie.
all right, Comcast.
So, yeah, we can be mad at them for
Yeah.
taking up space that probably could have gone to a Harry Potter expansion or who knows what else.
Or anything else. Anything else.
And that is a wrap on Fast and Furious.
Oh, that's funny because now we're moving on to the wrap party.
Oh my gosh.
Uh, well, actually, I don't know if anyone ever made it to the wrap party. Well, no, they made it back on tour, so I'm sure the party happened. If you have not seen it, at the end of the Mummy ride, there are flyers up for the wrap party for after they finish filming. Since the whole ride is the premise of the ride is you're going to be an extra in the movie. So,
Beautiful transition. Thank you for that.
yes, thank you for that. So the Mummy, best ride in the park. We both love
I
it.
would have to agree.
Best. It replaced Confrontation, which I had so much Mummy research, I didn't even do anything really on Confrontation.
That's okay. We'll
Confrontation,
cover that when we get
yeah,
to
we
it.
will. It was an opening day attraction. Something I do know about it is they apparently pumped banana smell.
I did hear
Um,
about that, that his breath smelled like bananas.
yes. But other than that, I really didn't do too much or anything really on Kong. And something I do know as well that's really cool, you can see the Kong tracks. Some of them were actually built into the building structure, so they couldn't remove them.
Hmm.
And that's why we still see them, not just because they didn't want to spend the money to take track out. So when you're on the
Just
ride,
something that structurally they had to.
exactly. When you're on the ride, if you look up at the right times, you can actually still see that track. You can also see it if you do the tour,
Okay,
which I
cool.
forget
We'll have
what
to
they
keep an eye
call
out for that.
the Mummy tour, but
Is it a museum
it
tour, maybe?
maybe yeah, that might be it. It's the Museum of Antiquities.
Hmm.
The ride opened May 7th of 1999. Oh, never mind. Mummy movie came out. I'm like, that's not right.
I was gonna say that sounds a little
Yeah, that's
early.
not right. The Mummy movie came out May 7th, 1999. In 2001 is when The Mummy Returns came out, and then
Hmm.
2002 is when they announced that the spin-off Scorpion King was going to come out. The ride opened May 21st of 2004.
Okay, that sounds more reasonable.
2004, yeah. The first date I have on here just May 7th, 99. Yeah. No. 2004 is when the ride opened. It cost $40 million.
Wow.
But what I think is even crazier, and I'll get to more later, is that the mummy, the Imhotep animatronic at the beginning of the ride, 3 million.
That's a big chunk of the budget.
Three of the 40 million was spent on the animatronic that you see for 10 seconds at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Worth it though.
Worth it, yes. And I'll get more on that. It's in the animatronics world, a really impressive creation. The
Okay.
coaster lasts almost 3 minutes. Uh, Universal will tell you that it has a top speed of 45 miles an hour, but that's not, it's misleading. And
Okay.
the track
How
is
so?
2,200 feet long. I'll get to it because I'm going to try and follow my
Okay.
notes in order. I'm going to try
Okay.
for this
I'll
one.
let you do your thing.
Um, it's 6 stories tall, the building, 6 stories tall,
Wow. Okay.
62,000 square foot building, which now is seeming kind of small compared to the 100,000 square foot one you were just talking about.
Yeah, I guess so, but I guess that means Mummy's building is about the same size as Spider-Man.
Makes sense. Uh,
Yeah.
Hollywood got a different version of the Mummy than what we got in Orlando. It opened
Oh,
June of
really?
2004. It's a little bit different storyline, different ride, even. Um,
Hmm.
and Singapore got one as well. It's only at those three parks, Orlando, Hollywood, Singapore. Singapore is the
Okay.
same as the Florida ride, but they built a whole Egypt land around it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But theirs came out later. It opened in on my birthday, March 18th in
Oh,
2010. And
awesome.
so since it came out so much later, '04 versus 2010, they had improved animatronics and special effects. So I would love to see
Hmm.
their Imhotep animatronic if
Yeah,
they improved it over the one we have in Orlando. And the
definitely.
whole premise of the ride is you're going into a hot set. You're going to be an extra on what's a continuation of the Mummy movies, and there is a curse on set, the symbol of the Magi, who are the protectors. They're, keeping us humans safe from the Mummy. Uh, you have to have that. Brendan Fraser is not having it. Um,
No, he is
so
not.
he doesn't wear his, but then the staff is instructed, and you learn this through the movies that are in the queue. The staff is instructed not to serve anyone who's not wearing the Magi symbol so they don't get cursed. And so at the beginning, he's asking for his cup of coffee. The girl won't give it to him because he's not wearing a symbol. So then he goes and steals the Magi symbol necklace from this crew member, Reggie. And Reggie then gets cursed because he doesn't have his Magi symbol on. And that's the guy you see wrapped in mummy, halfway mummified in the beginning with Imhotep.
Hmm. Poor Reggie.
Yeah, poor Reggie. He was following the rules. It's all Brendan's fault. So that's why he didn't get the cup of coffee in the beginning, because he was not following the rules on set. And then, Imhotep wants to steal your soul.
Yeah, just another day at the museum.
Yeah, just another day. The ride, like I said, replaced Kong. So in the gold treasure room, there's a golden King Kong figure that you can see in there. Half the time, it's like Frank. I've
Ah.
seen him and I still miss him half the time.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing him. I'd have to look for that next time.
Mhm. Yeah, I miss him half the time. So he's hidden in there. In that room, over 3,000 sheets of gold foil were used.
Wow.
Yeah, but I kind of think that's low because that's a huge room. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Well, it depends on how big
Um,
the sheets were.
well, yeah, you're right. It does depend on how big the sheets were.
And that stuff is a pain to work with.
Is it? Well, they
Oh
used a
yeah.
lot of it.
If
And
they're thinking like gold leafing foil, if that's what I'm thinking of, that
that's what
stuff
I'm thinking of.
sucks.
I haven't used it in a long time, not since high school, talented art. And
Mm.
so that's to kind of commemorate confrontation. Well, the Kong, not the sheets. And each of the warrior statues in there weigh 450 pounds.
Wow.
Pretty big. Pretty big. The um see my notes my notes are nuts because I just each thing I watch or listen to or read, I just add.
Hmm.
And I tried to be good about inserting it where it made sense, and I didn't. So it's gonna be pretty out of order, but whatever.
Okay.
Um the one of my favorite parts of the ride is the scarab scene. because people don't know
Yeah.
that you're about to just get flung forward.
Hmm.
So brace yourself once you get through the gold treasure room. Um, but some of those scarabs are physical scarabs.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. Most of them are projections, but some of them are actual
Hmm.
bugs. I mean,
I thought
not
the whole
live
thing was a
bugs, but
projection.
yeah, I thought so too. Oh, shoot, 10-minute warning.
Oh, no.
Um, yeah,
If we
and
have to do a like record one meeting worth
yeah,
on Friday, maybe we could do that.
yeah, that'd be fine. There are 25 apparitions, which are the ghost-looking mummies that you see, like the
Hmm.
painting things. They are each,
Okay.
which I couldn't find any other information on this, so I don't know if this is accurate. It seems like it's too small, but you're also in the dark and it's fast and there are strobe lights, so I don't know. But it says each of them is about 30 inches by 20 inches.
Hmm.
They seem a lot bigger than that. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that meant the original drawings were only 30 by 20 because I saw something else that said they used large sheets. So I really couldn't find more on that. But
Hmm.
the originals were done by Stacey Allen, who is apparently really well known in the theme park um, area, I guess, because she does a lot of art for theme parks.
Hmm.
I had
Okay.
never
Be
heard of
curious to
her.
know if she's done anything else I'm familiar with.
I was trying to find out what else she's worked on, and there are lots of Stacey Allens that do art, and she does not have a website that I could find. So
Okay.
I, I guess you got to know somebody.
I guess so.
Um, but I would love a print of one of those if I could find one somewhere.
Yeah.
The ones on the ride, they are created with fluorescent or painted with fluorescent paint, and then there is a black light shined, whatever, put onto
Hmm.
them, and they use two different strobe light colors on top of the black light and fluorescent paint to make it to burn the image into your eyes.
Whoa.
So you keep
That's
seeing it even
cool.
when you're not in front of it.
That's really cool, actually.
Isn't it?
That's an awesome, super simple special effect.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and the murals in the queue were created by a different artist. And his name is Greg Rotowski. Uh,
Okay.
and he painted them digitally before they were put on the walls. So not
Hmm.
actually ink to paper, digital painting. And speaking of the walls, a lot of the hieroglyphics that are painted on the walls are real warnings.
Mhm. Oh, really?
Uh-huh. Um, I can't tell you what they are because I can't read hieroglyphics. But um, yeah, the ancient door props that are when you first walk into the building
Hmm.
are actually were actually used in the movie, the first movie.
Oh, that's cool.
And so was the wardrobe and the wax molds that are behind the gates and the chariot. That's the last
Oh.
thing you see right before you go into the what looks like you're actually in the tomb place. But something I learned is that those molds, when they actually got bolted onto the actors when they to create the molds.
Hmm.
Yeah, bolted onto them. That's like,
Wow.
and I'm just thinking of Jim Carrey in The Grinch, and how are these actors dealing with being enclosed, their whole shoulders up, bolted into this mold maker?
That seems like a very strange way to do that.
Hmm. It's
Huh.
an old movie.
Yeah. but still, I don't know. That's just got my brain going now.
And and this is that came from a tour where the team members working the ride were giving a tour.
Hmm.
Something he said on the tour. The production tour.
Oh, okay. Production tour. That's what it's called.
Yes, that's what it's called. Uh, the ride has a height of 44.5 feet,
Okay.
and the curse was real. So you were cursed. And from what they said on that tour is once you pass that chariot and you're in what looks like inside of the tomb or the pyramid or whatever you're in, um,
Yeah.
the mummy has cursed you.
That's the point where you get
Yes.
cursed. Okay.
hmm And when you exit the ride, right before you see Brendan Fraser, the symbol on the ceiling, not the ceiling, but up there on the wall that you go under
Uh-huh.
is the symbol of the Magi.
So
So
that
you
removes
got
the
saved.
curse.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Mhm. It
Well, I'm
was the
glad that was there.
Yeah, exactly, huh? This is the first ever roller coaster at Universal Orlando and Universal Hollywood,
Okay, so
which
that
I
was the
did
first
not
one to end up at
realize.
both.
First,
Huh.
well, the first one at all. First one in Orlando and first one in Hollywood.
Oh, some of my
Uh-huh.
notes I thought said Woody Woodpecker was the first one in Orlando.
This one is not considered a family coaster.
Okay,
So that must be the
that makes
differentiator.
sense.
Because I saw this the
Yeah.
first time I saw it, I'm like, nah, that can't be true. And then I saw it a couple more times. Like, okay, maybe you are right. Uh, it it's there, they called it the world's first psychological thrill ride.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
they intentionally targeted major fears, dark,
Hmm.
bugs, the unknown, drops,
Yeah.
heights. And each of the rooms was kind of designed to target a fear or more than one fear in some
That's
cases.
that's a cool idea.
And they wanted it to be very immersive.
So it's essentially supposed to, it was designed kind of like a ride through haunted house roller coaster in
Kinda,
a way.
yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
In the queue, there are a couple of cool interactive elements, three actually. One of them is a pyramid you can put your hands on, and it says evil by one hand, protection by two. So if only one person puts their hand on it, you get cursed. If and it makes like creepy music. If two people put their hands on it at the same time on opposite sides, the room gets lighter, it plays nice music, and you're good.
I actually just found out about that for the first time yesterday through a Reddit post on the
Huh.
Universal Orlando subreddit, and I was going to mention it to you to say that we should try to make that happen when we go.
Yes, we have to.
We need to both put our hands on it and see
Yeah.
what happens because I'd like to see that in person. I didn't even know there were any
Well,
interactive elements.
the way they do it though is interesting because it's the way the queue goes, you're not likely to be with your party on both sides of it. So it's
Oh, I
strangers,
see.
and you have to time it with
Okay.
strangers,
Huh.
which was good on their part.
Yeah, that is. That's
The
cool.
other
By the way,
two,
we have a minute and a
yeah, no,
half.
no, no, okay, we're gonna have to do another. Still
Mhm.
got a lot.
This will
There's
be an extra long
this
episode.
will be an extra long, but it's worth it for the mummy.
Yeah.
There's another section of the queue not long after that little pyramid where there's a hole in the wall and the lock is in there for the Book of the Dead.
Oh, okay,
And
yeah.
when you stick your hand in to grab it, it's a hologram and it blows air on you.
Oh.
So fun to watch people get scared in that one. And then the last one is a scarab with a camera view in front of it, a video view in front of
hmm
it. And when you press it, the people you're looking at on the camera are farther ahead in line. It shoots air at them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I
So,
like that.
man, I am out of order. I might be better off when I tell the AI to organize my notes because this is all over the place. Um, because now I'm going back to Kong closed September 8th of 2002.
Oh.
And then Mummy, of course, opened in 2004, so 2 years later. They're pretty spot on with this 2 year. They're
Yeah,
all
they really do knock these things out quick for what,
hmm
all things considered.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm almost like starting over again here. I must have been watching a different video then and taking new notes.
I'll just have to
Uh,
chop the whole episode up and,
yeah,
and
yeah,
piece it back
move it
together.
around. Um, so Stephen Sommers was the director of the first two Mummy movies, and he
Yes,
worked really closely with Universal Creative on the ride. They wanted it to be really intense, and I think they did a good job
I think they did.
as intended, especially for coming out when it did.
Yeah.
And something I was always curious about and just looked up when I was doing research for this is on the ride cars that are supposed to be mine carts, uh,
Hmm.
the front of them says UC and Sons. What in the world is that? I don't remember seeing it in the movie. It stands for Universal Creative.
Universal Creative. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, which is the fictional movie production company that
Okay.
that's making this movie that you're an extra on.
Mummy 2.5 or
Yeah,
Mummy
2.5.
3 or whatever it is.
Uh, something else. So, we talked earlier about how small, relatively speaking, the building is. They actually
Hmm.
had to excavate and they dug into the ground to make space for the big drop.
Oh, wow. So instead
Yeah.
of they didn't have the real estate, so they just had to go deeper.
Yep. Yep.
That's really
Exactly.
cool. And that
And
feels very fitting for
that's
a mummy themed
yes, it
experience
does.
to have to dig to find the room for it.
Mhm. And that one happens after the fake ride ending when you go down
Yeah.
the drop. And the drop is not actually 39 feet. Uh, and because of this, and look, math is not my strong point, so I'm just going to spit out the numbers that I saw in in the
Okay.
video. It's actually 25 feet because the drop angle is 50 degrees and the banking angle is 78 degrees. So
Okay.
because it does this swoop thing,
Does it feel
it's
like you're going deeper than you are? Is that it?
I
Or is it just like they didn't have as much room to make it?
my guess is that from the top to the bottom is 39 feet, but it doesn't just go down.
Mm,
It curves.
okay. So it's just not technically a straight drop, is the whole thing.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. I mean, either way, it's not like I'm going to be going down there with a tape measure. So,
Right, right. Well, the guy in the video was like, Universal is lying to you, and they're using this marketing.
oh,
Like,
wow.
you are really feeling strongly about this, my friend. But I appreciate his video because I like the stats. And
Yeah.
something I didn't notice in all of the bajillion times I've ridden this is each ride car is separated between the first two rows and the last two rows. And that
Oh, is it?
allows it when you're going on all those curves to move more freely, kind of like that.
Okay.
And it's not a massive difference, like it is on some rides where the cars kind of disconnect. But when you're looking at videos of them when they're going on the curves, it's noticeable when you look at it. But I don't,
Yeah.
when you're on the ride, I'd never noticed.
No, but it makes sense though. And that's one
Hmm.
thing I was going to mention as you were talking about how it's fairly intense even for when it was made. I think the thing I appreciate about it is that it is pretty intense, but I've never felt like it was rough.
No, no. It's also not loud.
That's also true. I hadn't thought about that.
I thought this was a lie when I first read it, and I had to fact check. The track has sand inside of it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
to keep it from rattling as much.
Yes.
Also, super fitting for a mummy themed roller
Remind me thing,
coaster.
right? Yes. Yes. Mhm. And um, something else that was kind of cool is that they used Premier Rides, which is known for their launch coasters.
Okay.
So even though this is a small ride, they really did a lot to make it a good coaster.
Yeah, and I would say personally it is a very good coaster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, you mentioned
And
them with their launch coasters, and it just makes me think I wonder if their name's gonna pop up when we get to Incredible Hulk.
maybe
I'd be curious to see
we're gonna have to compile a list at the end of this of who
who
worked
made all
on
the
each
rides.
ride. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should.
And I learned a little bit about linear induction motors.
Okay.
They are what propels the ride, and there's a couple different kinds. This the Mummy uses two different kinds, and it's magnets that help it go fast.
Hmm.
So in the fast launch parts of it, they are more on the outside. They're on the outside of the track, and it's you've probably even seen them before on tracks. There's a let me look how I wrote it down to see how to best explain. I'm picturing it in my head and trying to
Uh-huh.
describe what it looks like. Fin. So it's like a fin that passes through a groove in the um, motor, I guess, and that supplies it with electricity. So it's like goes like that. Or oh well, you can't see my whole. Hold on, I'm
Mhm.
backwards. I'm trying to see what my hands look
It's
like.
okay.
Backwards. It goes through the groove. That's what I was trying. It goes through the groove like
Yeah.
that, and
Okay.
and, and supplies it with electricity. So it's an electromagnet that sucks it in and pushes it out.
Okay.
That's what helps it launch so fast, getting up to a top speed of 40 miles an hour. But that top speed is dependent on the weight of the ride car. So if you have lighter people or a more empty ride car, you might hit 40. But typically it's between 33 and 35 miles an hour with regular, weight
Mm.
in the ride car.
So they lied twice.
They lied twice.
Well,
As
three
you can
times if we
imagine, I
want to.
got both of those in the same video.
Yeah. Well, actually, three times if we want to tie it back to confrontation and the idea that the Men in Black bug is the largest animatronic they had built.
Mm,
Because I don't know if we can count that when
uh,
Kong was as big as he was.
no, no, we cannot. And Kong did more moving.
Yeah, a lot more moving.
Yeah.
More than just the.
Back to linear induction motors.
Yes.
They require extreme closeness to the reaction plates. And did I put the other motors in a different part of this? Don't tell me I did that. I did learn about them at different times, but I thought I put them together. Hold on. Nah, I'm talking about all of this at the same time. Where's my other stuff about the motors?
I feel like there's a lesson in this somewhere.
Organize my notes better is the dang lesson. Um, anyway, well, I remember the basics. The other type of linear induction motor is instead of being on the side of the track, it's on the middle of the track. And
Okay.
it is used on slower sections to just propel the ride to wherever it needs to go next.
Without
This
making it
first,
rocket off in whatever direction it's
right.
pointing, just to keep it going so it doesn't stall out.
Hmm. Yep.
Okay.
And again, those are in the middle of the track, and they all have to be really close because it's magnets. And that was
Hmm.
about it for those. It's
Okay.
simple.
Cool. I've never really done a ton of research into the specifics of like the mechanics of a roller coaster, so that is neat to know.
There's one guy I found on YouTube. Did I send you the mummy circuit board?
Yeah.
Okay, that guy is
Mm.
where I learned this stuff from.
Okay,
And he
cool.
builds little models to show you how it goes. And
Huh.
it's and he really does some research. He in one of the videos I watched with him today, he spent he said a week at the mummy.
Wow.
And he's taking measurements. He's like observing. Um, I don't know what his day job is, but I mean, builds circuit boards and understands
He's
roller
gotta
coaster
be gotta
mechanics.
be some kind of engineer, right?
So, oh yeah, he's got to be. And I wish I could remember.
Do
I
you
should have put his
I was
name
gonna
in
ask if
here.
you remember his channel
Um,
name.
um, I'll Google the mummy's circuit board guy.
Okay. Because I'm sure there's gonna be somebody listening who's probably at least a little interested.
Yeah.
At the very least, if nothing
And
else, I'm interested to find out more about his YouTube
all
channel.
right. We'll started started playing. Okay, yeah, this guy. It's this guy.
Okay. So
129,000 subscribers, so he's not going to be hard to find. It's called Amusement Labs.
amusement labs.
Amusement Labs.
Okay.
And his shirt says Light Rides by Amusement Labs. Light Rides, I think, is the Etsy where he was
The
selling the circuit
sort of
board.
LED lighted map of the layout of the mummy that you showed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He
That's
also has a really cool one for Jaws.
oh, I bet that's
Yeah,
cool.
it's really cool. But this guy's really informative and he breaks things down really well. And like I said, has models and pictures. And if you want to understand the how the ride works, this is your guy.
That's good to know. I'm gonna have to
Mhm.
check out his channel.
Amusement Labs. Let's see how many. Oh, he's got a lot of videos. I watched him for Hogwarts Express too.
Ooh,
Yeah, he's got a lot on here. And
that's
he
really cool.
also, on the video I watched today of the mummy, um, showed the the big roller coaster at Epic that I'm wanting to call
Um,
the Constellation Carousel, and that's not.
Stardust.
Yes. Yeah, let me show you the launch and the Constellation Carousel.
Man, now we gotta ride that one. I wasn't too
I
excited about it before, but I can't
know.
pass it up if there's a launch on that thing.
You just have a mythical creature take off.
What's its top speed?
Point
If we have a
five.
ca- if we have a carousel that goes like 50 miles an hour, I'm getting on it.
You're then you're not on the carousel. You're on the Storm Force Acceleratron. Anyway,
Anywho, back to the mummy.
back to the mummy. Uh, Imhotep. That's where I'm at now in my notes.
Imhotep. Ooh.
You want to take a guess at how tall he is?
Ooh. 7.5 feet?
Oh, no, he's 6'8".
Okay, I would have thought at least seven because usually animatronics tend to be pretty big for whatever
No,
reason.
he's 6'8", which I thought was huge.
No, that is
But I don't
huge.
know a ton about animatronics.
I was expecting like 7 or 8 feet because a lot of the
Mm,
time they do tend to make them pretty big, I guess, so that you can they're easier to spot as you're going by,
yeah.
maybe. But
Well,
6'8"? No, that's a big guy.
yeah, he's a big dude. Big dude. Somewhere between 650 and 680 pounds.
Phew, really
And
big
like I
dude.
said, yeah, really big dude. And it cost $3 million of the $40 million budget. And this to me is nuts, right? There's 1,000 feet of hydraulic tubing that he uses. But what really like kind of blew my mind a little bit is producing 4,000, somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 PSI, which is pounds per square inch for anyone who
Hmm.
isn't familiar. Um, 4,000 to 5,000 psi. To put that into perspective, the industry standard is like 25, 3,500 psi. The tires in your car are 30 to 35 psi.
Yeah.
So look at the your tire pressure.
So like 1,000 times the
A
pressure that's
thousand
in your
times.
car tire is
Yes.
standard for an animatronic for the
Yes.
hydraulic cables and the fluid that makes the motion.
Hmm. And is like time and a half more for Imhotep. Yeah. So he's an impressive guy. He's not just big, he's impressive.
Yeah. And it
He,
sounds honestly like it could be kind of dangerous too.
yeah,
The
yeah,
amount of
that's what I'm
pressure that's
thinking.
flailing those
If
arms around
like
and
if he loses an arm, it just shoots.
right.
It's not going to be like when you feel that pumpkin fly past you in
Yeah. No,
Spider-Man or the
he
bullet or the Transformers. You're going to be
he
decapitated.
back he backhands you and it's over.
So, whole ride car's done. We're all over there with Randy, Ricky, shoot. What was oh wait, what's this guy's name? Reggie.
Reggie,
Reggie.
Randy, Ricky. No, Rick is Brendan Fraser.
Yeah. One of them. Well, I don't know. The mommy took him at the end too.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The ghostly swoosh.
But hey, we got part of our intro out of it, so.
Yeah, we did. So our mummy friend can do 80 motions. He has 46 degrees of motion,
Okay,
and
wow.
45 people worked on him.
Wow, that's almost one for every degree of motion.
Uh, they used high strength or high stress stainless steel, and they used single blocks of stainless steel, so they didn't have to do as
Hmm.
much welding, so they had
Hmm.
less potential breaking points,
Yeah, that makes
which
sense. So
is
he's more sturdy.
important when you got, 4,000 psi hydraulics going through
Yeah.
his tubes. They tested him like crazy because he's going constantly and they needed him to be able to withstand all of those rides over and over and over again.
Hmm.
And they actually had to make him look less lifelike because he was looking so lifelike that Universal thought people might think he was a person in a costume.
Hmm. In the sense of that's dangerous, or like it looked so much like a person in a costume that it was less real and looked like fake. Like that's confusing for me to
They,
wrap my head around. Like maybe if they thought it
yeah,
was a person in a costume, like that's more cheesy.
maybe. I don't know. It didn't say why. It just said a couple different
Huh,
sources were saying they had to like downgrade him a little bit because he looked too lifelike. And they
that's
also
interesting.
mentioned in one of the things I was reading that he's dead. So they didn't want him to look too
Hmm.
lifelike, which that to
Yeah.
me makes more sense than they didn't
Hmm.
want people to think there was a person in the costume.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense to me.
Hmm. So I'd like to see him on full human throttle. How's he move? What can he do? You're gonna have him dancing like those Fast and Furious cars on the
on
mechanical arms.
on the Kuka arms.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Wonder if
The
amusement labs will make a miniature model version of that.
that'd be fun. I'd put that on a desk. I'm about to have a big open space too on my desk.
Ooh.
Might put that mummy display up here.
There you go.
Uh,
Maybe I'll get one
anyway.
for Spider-Man.
Oh, I didn't see one, but you could probably make one.
Yeah, probably so.
The fire ceiling, I learned, has a name,
Oh,
and it is called brain fire.
brain fire.
Brain fire. Mhm. And the concept was taken from an attraction at Universal in Hollywood called Backdraft. It
Okay,
is
yeah, that's the one that
32.
closed with Fast and Furious.
Yeah. So you probably in your videos saw the same fire.
No, they just mentioned it.
Oh, well, it looks the same
Okay.
as in the mummy. The same. So the fire on the ceiling is about 3,200 degrees,
Phew.
and at the rider level is about 107 degrees.
Yeah, it's pretty toasty.
Yeah, which is why the water that's meant to feel like broken glass um,
Ah,
dries up real fast. And it
that's really
uses,
cool too. I don't think I caught that. Huh.
oh, yeah, it's supposed to feel like broken glass from when he shatters and takes the ride operator.
Yeah. Okay.
And the brain fire uses real flames fueled by natural gas.
Hmm.
It was voted the best indoor roller coaster 7 times.
I believe that.
Imhotep appears 4 times throughout the ride, twice as an animatronic, twice as a projection. And
Okay.
the animatronic is your first one, and then again
Hmm.
at the fake ride ending
Yeah.
when he breaks
Okay.
glass. Arnold Vosloo, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, played Imhotep in the first two movies and first two films. Oh wait, in the first two films of the 1999 reboot series, he returned to voice the character for the ride.
Hmm. Okay, cool.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the Mummy that we're thinking, like reboot series, what the heck are they talking about? Why did I write this down?
Because the original was Boris
The original was,
Karloff.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. Brendan Fraser plays himself in the post-ride film, which we know. Um,
Probably my favorite moment of the whole ride.
yeah. And then he finally gets his cup of coffee.
He sure does.
Yeah.
Spilled all over him and it feels really good.
So, yeah. The Let's see, the Sahara Traders, which is the gift shop that you go into when you finish the ride, has
Hmm.
mail that identifies the location of the Museum of Antiquities, where the ride is, as being 1203 Harryhausen Drive, and that is a
Oh, cool.
tribute to Ray Harryhausen, legendary animator,
Yes.
who provided stop motion special effects for various monster movies.
Yes,
I
he
thought you
did.
might
That
like
is
that one.
definitely a, I guess like an idol or inspiration of mine growing up. I've always been into stop motion.
Well, we're gonna have to find the mail with the 1203 Harryhausen Drive when we're
Yeah, we'll
there.
have to get a picture of that.
There is also a tribute to Carl Denham. You familiar with him?
Yeah.
Exhibit of ancient Egyptian artifacts was assembled and curated by, he is supposed to be the person who curated the Museum of Antiquities. Um, Film director character from King Kong. So that's their tribute.
Yeah,
Okay.
because Kong was in the show building before, because I remember him
Mhm.
specifically from the Peter Jackson King Kong movie from I think 2005. That was who Jack Black played.
Mhm. Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, him
Mm.
and Adrian Brody. That was a good version of the story. I liked it. That's the one that the Ride in Islands is based on.
Mm. Okay. I'm gonna have to watch a lot of these movies again before we go back. You're not, you don't have Harry Potter playing, do you?
No, do you?
I think Nick is watching Harry Potter.
You think he's getting ready for the trip?
Maybe he is not a Potter fan, so that's surprising. Maybe he's trying to get me to go in there and watch TV with him.
Maybe if I play it and I just turn it up a
It's
little bit every
it's
few
a little
minutes.
bit. It's like, have you seen Frozen 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so you know how that the voice calls to Elsa?
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm feeling like right now. Hmm. Anyway, actress Zelda Rubinstein is in the pre-show talking about the curse. That's a joke because in Poltergeist, she played a psychic.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, I thought so too. And as of 2015, the Orlando version is the only, or in Orlando, so this doesn't apply to the other two, Hollywood or Singapore. But in
Hmm.
Orlando, the Mummy is the only ride in the park that is a non-family coaster
Hmm.
after Rip Ride Rockit closed.
Oh, yeah, that makes
So,
sense.
so then that was what it was referring to earlier. Then the
Yeah,
first
non-family coaster.
in in the queue, and I have not noticed this, so we're gonna have to look for it. In the queue, there's apparently remnants of the graffiti from Kong,
Oh, really?
and they're in the production area and the vestibule area,
Hmm.
which I don't know which areas those are. We're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Um, on the employee badges and so the logo really,
Hmm.
the face of the scarab is made to also resemble Kong.
Oh, that's cool.
Mhm.
And so many little details.
Yeah, yeah, that's one that I saw on the production tour video.
Oh, cool.
So I'd like to do the production tour if we can while we're there.
Yeah,
Some of
I
the
would too.
staff believe the building is haunted. And I started reading a book. The book I told you I wanted to read before this, I decided not
Yeah.
to. It's The Third Unit is what it's called, and it's written by one of the guys that was one of the first teams to work the ride when it opened, and they helped with the whole opening thing.
Hmm.
Anyway, the reason I decided not to for this is because it said the stories were dramatized, so I don't know what in them is real and what's
Mm.
exaggerated. But I did read a chapter, and if this is real, they did some crazy stuff. Because the what he was saying in the book is that they didn't have enough of something that they needed for the queue, the ropes or something in the queue.
Hmm. Oh,
So
10-minute warning. Just
oh
saying.
geez,
Yeah.
long episode. So they dressed in black. Again, I don't know how true this is, but it was in the book. They dressed in black, took a golf cart, drove it to islands, and took some of the or no, not to islands. What's the Jaws or islands? Shoot, now I can't remember. Anyway, they drove somewhere else, somewhere else
Hmm.
in the parks to get more of the what they needed for the queue, and then put them all in place. And they did this like after hours. They snuck in all
So
black and
they
jacked a golf
they
cart
snuck in
to
in all
set
black, stole rope
up.
from another ride, and used it to theme the mummy queue.
Yep, this is what what the little bit of the book that I read said. So I'm curious to read more of it, and I would love to know what really is true, what they actually did, and what's a little more dramatized. But
Yeah.
um, there was a little bit of talk when I was reading through the book like description or whatever they're called that there's a lot of talk about the ride being haunted, and the production tour that I watched said the gold room is really creepy and things happen, like stuff works when it's not supposed to.
Oh,
Um,
I don't
but I can
love
see that
that.
being kind of a creepy room, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so it's haunted. With weird occurrences like statues causing ride malfunctions when touched.
Oh,
No, actually, it was the opposite of that.
no.
It was
Mm-hmm.
when the ride malfunctioned, they would touch the Anubis
Mm-hmm.
statue, they rub his nose, and the ride would start working again. So they said that was kind of a
So,
tradition. Now, this was
so
a COVID time video, but
what I'm
yeah,
getting from this is that the curse really actually is real,
the
and we should
curse
be
is
very
real.
grateful that the symbol is above the end of the ride.
Yes, yes, you are exactly right.
Oh.
And Anubis is the Egyptian god of funerals and death.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, let's worship him when the ride breaks.
Yeah. Make sure he stays happy. We
Make
don't
sure he
need
stays
any
happy.
don't need any funerals on the mummy.
We do not. Do not.
I guess except for Reggie.
Yeah, poor Reggie. We're too late for him though.
Yeah.
Oh, some of the mummies though, before you get to Reggie, it said that some of them have universal uniforms on,
Like he's
which
gotten a few other people
yeah, like he's got a few other
before
ones. I
Reggie.
hadn't noticed that,
Me
but we're gonna
either.
have to keep an eye out next
We
time.
got a lot of things to look for.
Oh, we do have a lot of things to look for. We need to make a list.
Yeah.
Anubis, god of funerary rites, protector of graves, and guide to the underworld. That's Anubis. And I spelled his name wrong. Anubis. And that's the end of my notes.
Okay, so we ended on Anubis.
Ended on Anubis.
That was quite a ride in
That's
more ways than one.
forward, backwards, turn in a circle.
Jumping back and forth through the notes.
Yeah. Actually, I got one more thing. You can tell in parts of the ride if things are running smoothly or if something was slightly delayed, because
Hmm.
there are some parts of the ride where there's not supposed to be a brief stop, but there will be a very brief stop.
So that everything can catch
Like,
up to itself.
mhm. Yeah, and it's in places that you're not gonna notice.
Huh.
I thought it was kind of cool.
That is cool.
Mhm. So, there's my
Wow.
notes.
I have way more of an appreciation for the mummy now than I already did, which is
Mhm.
crazy.
Best ride.
Yeah. Best ride in studios.
In
I'm,
studios. In studios, yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Islands is tough for me, and obviously, I can't speak on Epic for another couple weeks, but we'll
Hmm.
see.
We're getting close though. Or what, 10 days? Is it 10 days?
Is it already?
Oh, no, it's a little longer than that. 12 days. 13 days until you get to be in
Till I get to have my mind blown by a
Epic.
new theme park that I've never
Yes.
been to?
Yes. Exactly. All right. Well, it is almost 11 o'clock my time, and I do still hear Harry Potter. So Um,
I'm curious if it's actually on or if it's just because it's late and you're tired.
it's definitely on. This is
Okay.
definitely on.
This has been quite an episode. This is interesting
Yes.
doing going
Yes.
this long. This is going to be what, probably almost a 2 hour episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
but
yeah.
hey,
All right.
what a way to wrap up studios though.
Yeah, good way to wrap up studios. We finished up the park. We'll start islands next time.
That's it for this week's episode and for our deep dives into all the current rides at Universal Studios Florida. We'll be back with another episode next week as we start our journey into Islands of Adventure. But if you would like to see more from us, you can find us at Talo Podcast, that's Talo Podcast, on Facebook and Instagram. And until next time, thank you all so much for listening, and be sure to join us back here next week as we continue to dive deeper into the adventure.